Good afternoon.
Good evening.
And
good evening,
night.
one and all. Yes. Good show. Thanks for watching. See you later.
See you later, guys. Check it out, man. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. How you going?
Good for a Thursday. Good for a Thursday. Mate, I felt like
Thursday.
I know we caught up last week, but I felt like we haven't had a show for about a week or 2 weeks.
Wait a second. We haven't had a show or we haven't had a chat. Let's just call it a chat.
I know. We've got the big show tonight, mate. The big show.
I know. Massive
Rob
show.
Vazey from New Zealand.
Yeah. Rob, giving away the giveaways that we've got to give away.
How many giveaways are there? There are so many giveaways.
I know. What have we got? We've got a stick. We've also got a stick to give away.
And
we're giving away a stick.
That's it.
Yeah. And someone will be winning a stick.
So we've got the competition. We've got the funny stories that came in, right?
I know. All entries are being closed now. They've been all checked, signed, sealed, delivered.
We got a few.
Yeah, I know.
I think there's still a few more out there.
I know. There was plenty more that people were talking about, and they were not submitted. I was actually a little bit disappointed with Kelly Belcher.
Kelly, I tell
he
you what.
Got called out. He got called out by, who was it? Tom.
Yeah. I think Tom, Gaz
and Tom. They called it out. Apparently, he had a winner.
I got a few phone calls from a few people with a few stories.
Yeah.
And I said, put them in writing. I said, put them in writing. I said, man, if it's not in writing, you're not in the competition.
I know. But there was a few. And I think we've got a very worthy winner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're going to keep that to a secret, a bit of a surprise, because at the moment it's under lock and key, like the Brownlow. We sent it across the Tasman.
Yeah.
So
I know that'd be good. So anyway, mate. So we'll get Rob on soon. We'll hear what the hell's going on in New Zealand from his perspective. He's got a new exciting project, which I think if you're in New Zealand, you want to hear about this. We want to hear about it in Australia, because we're going to continue to collaborate and work with those guys. That'd be fantastic. And what else are we going to talk about? Oh, there's a couple of little things we want to chat to him about, get his ideas on a few things.
He's a busy man, huh?
He's a busy man, Rob. He's always busy. Yeah.
So we'll get to find out a little bit about the real Rob.
The real Rob.
The real Rob.
The real Rob. Now, mate, over in Europe, the European Championships are going, the senior men's, and I tell you,
I know.
I've watched them. I've probably watched most of them, if not all of them, in the last 10 years, right? To a degree. I followed them, probably is a better word.
Yeah.
But this year has got to be the most exciting year, right?
Yeah.
And that's because France and Italy are taking it to Spain and Portugal. Right?
I know. And how good is that? How good is that? Yeah.
So France has played 3 games. They beat Portugal.
I know. That's a big one, yeah.
Yeah. They beat them. You know, they're on the top of the ladder with Spain at the moment. Italy played Spain. I think they drew with Spain, and Italy drew with Portugal today.
Wow.
That was a great game. That was awesome. That was really good. So, mate, if you haven't seen it already, and if whoever's watching or listening or whatever, do
the Molly Meldrum.
Yeah, World Skate TV, whatever it is.
Do yourself a favour.
Do yourself a favour and watch some of these games. They're awesome. They're really, really good. They're really, really good. And tomorrow morning, so 8:45 Melbourne time, 10:45 New Zealand time, 7:45 Brisbane time. And what's that? 5:45 a.m. This is like AM time. Spain's playing Portugal. Now, Portugal has to win. Portugal has to win to get themselves into the finals.
Okay.
If they don't win, they're going to be playing for 3rd and 4th. So 8:45 a.m. tomorrow morning. Yeah, free.
They're going to be playing for. Did you say 3rd and 4th?
It's still the round robin.
Okay.
But they're 3 points behind 1st and 2nd already, which is Spain and France.
Yeah.
So they want Spain to lose, so then they can be on equal points and better goal average.
Yeah.
Right. So they have to win. But if they lose, then I don't think they've got a chance unless something terribly goes wrong with France, which I don't think
France is doing really well, yeah.
Yeah. They got the
and that's the what the Benedetto.
The Benedettos.
Yeah.
The
Benedetto. Yeah, the Benedetto.
Yeah.
Brothers. Well, the twins and the brother, like Carlo.
Yeah, Carlo.
Carlo, he plays in Porto. And then the twins play in Spain. One plays for Liceo, the other one plays for a blue team. I can always forget Jaega, something like that.
I know.
And they've also France has got another player that's playing in Portugal.
If they play in Juventude de Viana. Yeah. They got some guns.
Yeah. And that is good. I mean, they obviously those guys are playing really well, so they're going to be a force to reckon going on to next year. It's gonna challenge those guys who'll be interested to sort of see. I mean, like, it's always been the top four. Italy's been there, and Argentina, rounding off, not necessarily in any particular order, but it's always like Spain, Portugal, Argentina, and Italy's always been there in the top four. A little while ago, we had Switzerland was there, like in the top 4 or 5, jumping in there. Right. Then they've dropped off. We've got now France, and now France. If France are going to be knocking in that top 4, which means if they're good enough to be beating like Portugal,
I know.
Can you imagine?
The problem they've got is depth. They've got like 5, 6 great players, but then it sort of goes very young after that, which they'll be better over time. Where Portugal's just got 30, 40, 50, how many players, right, they can choose from. So you actually see them swapping 4 at a time, right? 3 or 4 times line changes just to keep the intensity so high. Yeah. So this is where France could have guaranteed the spot today. So then France, has beaten Italy, it's beaten Portugal, and both of Portugal beat Andorra by 10 goals to 0 or 15 goals to 0 or whatever they did. France played Andorra this morning, and they drew 5-5
with Andorra. Oh wow!
Yeah. Now I was listening to the press conference afterwards, and you know how good my French is, right?
Yeah.
So from what I could tell,
from what you could tell, they were talking about hockey. They were talking about hockey.
Francais. He was actually saying, he goes, we're knackered, we're tired. We didn't sleep well, wasn't a great game. We're not happy about it, but they just said it's just tiring, So this is the thing, is they had 2 massively intense games to give themselves a chance, and then they've gone down the ditch. But can they pick themselves back up now when they play Spain? Anyway, full on. It's good. Now, I can see Rob in the waiting room, but I can't see his camera. So, Rob, if you can see us or hear us,
put your camera on.
Put your camera on, dude.
Is he in the green room?
He's in the green room. Half of him is in the green room. What's the time in New Zealand? Maybe the technology or the power turns off after 8 o'clock at night or something over there.
I know.
I mean, they're very environmentally friendly.
Yeah, true.
Right? They're very environmentally friendly over there. But anyway, okay, I can see a bit of camera in the background. But for us to get him, what are we going to do?
We've got to jump on the jet. We have to go and get him.
We're going to get on the jet. But as the jet's fueling up, we've known Rob. How long have we known Rob? For as long as we've been in hockey, right?
Couple of minutes. Yeah. Well, I don't know. How long? I mean, I don't know.
Probably 30 years, maybe.
We've been playing for a long time,
Yeah, 30-odd years probably.
Yeah.
So Rob's been a club player, we call it state player, a national coach, an event organizer, a sponsor, just a massive contributor.
Yeah.
I remember I was talking to a couple of people in New Zealand a little while ago, and they said whenever Rob Vazey is involved, shit happens.
Yeah.
Shit happens, right? Whatever that might be. If we're going to run an event, or we're going to go on a tour, or we're going to get together on whatever. So, Rob's one of those guys, one of the good guys that just gets on and gets stuff done, no matter what that is, right? And has contributed, you know, from the bottom all the way to the top. So
yeah,
we want to hear what he's up to now. We want to hear what he's up to. He's got a special project he's going to talk to us about.
I know. Let's ask him about it.
Yeah, where he's at with a few things, you know.
I know. So get the plane, man. Get the jets.
Right. Get the jet, man. Let's try to do it like real quick, all right? Let's go over the jet. All right, let's go. Now, we've got to make sure we stock up. We've got to stock up on the beers. I think Rob likes the beers. He's up the front of the bus there. Get the, you know, a bit of the music going. What sort of music do you reckon he likes?
Oh, he's a bit of a hard rock band, man. He's in a band.
Bit of Wham.
He's in a band, not in Wham.
I thought you said he likes the Wham. Right, it's a bit of a long trip, man. We've got a bit of a headwind. Right, hang on.
I know. I'm getting a headache. The turbulence. The turbulence is too much. Steve, man, just land it.
The autopilot's going off.
Just land it.
Hang on.
Just land the plane. There we go.
Right, buddy.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, mate.
Oh.
Good.
I'm all out of focus.
I know, mate. You gotta stop moving that big melon of yours.
Yeah.
Wait a second. There we go.
Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Hey, mate, we've got the same thing in the background here.
Yeah. That was a good tournament, that one.
Macau, right?
Yeah, Macau 204, I think.
There you go, 204. God.
Yeah. Showing our age.
Yeah, I know, mate. Mate, thanks so much for staying up late in New Zealand and coming on and just catching up, dude.
Yeah. Talk some hockey.
I know, mate.
I know. Talk some hockey with all those musical instruments in the background.
Yeah.
Is that the man cave? Is it in the background? Like in your room?
Music room. Yeah.
Yeah, right, mate.
This is where my son does all of his stuff. He's got pretty much behind behind that computer is a whole lot of guitars.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah. He's all into it. Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
That's nice, mate. So how you been, buddy? What you been up to?
Yeah, good. Busy, racing and doing a bit of hockey and so I'm coaching the prems now for Pat, which is pretty good, and the guys are going good. But we've been in lockdown for a couple of months, so hoping to get back soon, so which would be good.
Yeah, how's lockdown been treating you guys? As in, I mean, I know there's Auckland sort of lockdown and North Island, South Island. We sort of hear a bit about it, but we've got our own shit that we're dealing with over here, so we don't focus too much on it. Let's be honest.
I think the hard thing for us is just the uncertainty. If you had a date or you knew what was coming up, you could plan stuff, but they just won't give you any dates,
So where are you guys at the moment then? Are you guys in some sort of form of lockdown now, are you?
Yeah. So we're allowed. Recently we've been told that we can have 25 people to our house, or you can have a function with 25 people, but that's about it. But Auckland's got a border around it, so you sort of can't leave unless you got permission.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a bit tough, So we can't go and play any tournaments. But the good thing is that New Plymouth and the boys down the line are all playing, which is good.
Yeah.
So they're still catching up, and they were actually playing this weekend down in New Plymouth, I think. Yeah, which would be great. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
I mean, that lockdown, like you mentioned, you got 25 people coming over your place. We couldn't even get anybody here. Like, we couldn't even get any visitors.
Yeah.
With our lockdown.
That's only been the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Before that, you weren't allowed to do anything for a couple of months. So we got a bit of freedom a week ago, I think.
Right.
But
okay.
It's all good.
All right. Well, good luck with that, mate. I mean, we actually tonight
midnight tonight
90% vaccination in Victoria, and pretty much in Australia is pretty close to that as well. So Western Australia is sort of doing what Western Australia does.
Yeah, that's a bit weird, eh? They're all on their own, aren't they?
Yeah, they've always been a little bit like that. We don't get too political, but it's a bit like that. And I think Queensland starts to open up in December, early December, really. And in Victoria, we've got 90% vaccination now. So we're pretty much back to what we were. I mean, you got to wear a mask on the train, public transport, and that sort of stuff. Yeah. But from what I've read, and what we're back playing training and hockey and doing that sort of stuff. We're still got to get people back into the sport. That's a bit of the problem. Like, oh, really? It's like, yeah, we're training again. They go, oh, great. And they go, but Wednesday night.
I was enjoying it. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's, I think, you get a bit of complacency when that happens, but once you get it moving, it'll be good.
Yeah, that's what we think, So we're really keen on getting a 2022 agenda up. And I saw actually New Zealand posted something recent, 2022 and 2023 calendar, right? Yeah. So that's stuff to look forward to, right? So we want to do the same, get something out by Christmas, saying, this is our key plans for the year. And that'll generate some interest,
Yeah, hopefully we can get. I'm pretty sure everyone will be keen on coming over, crossing the ditch too, to have a game as well. As soon as we can.
Yeah, for sure. Well, absolutely, man. And that's this more than most people, right? But that's needed, right? Australia, New Zealand is just for us to come together, collaborate once a year, at a minimum, right? Just to get, we did stuff over there, you do stuff over here. That just creates participation, right?
That's
at the club level. And then the coach comes, the team manager comes, then the parents come, and they all want to go, well, I'm going to go to Australia, or I'm going to go to New Zealand, and I'm going to be involved. And the swell just grows, right?
Yeah.
Which is awesome,
It's exactly what happens,
And you held the Trans-Tasman, you ran one of the events a couple of years ago. I found a photo the other day, and it was massive.
We've done it.
Was that the last one? Which one was the last Trans-Tasman?
Yeah, I think was that the one in Auckland?
We had one in Auckland. No, this is the one that you did. Actually, I wasn't part of it. I think I was living overseas, but I remember it happening. This is about...
is this in 2010?
10 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, 2010. I did one at Papatoe. Is that the one? Yeah.
I don't know where the venue. I didn't recognise the venue.
That was New Zealand versus Australia. We had a big one at Papatoe. It was awesome. Yeah, I got a whole heap of sponsors and we packed it out. It was good. We had the mayor come in and open it. And we had kids singing. And it was great. Yeah.
And that's what it's about, mate. We had a couple of good ones over here. We had a good one in Gympie, which was great, and then in Melbourne, etc. So, and the last one back in Auckland was great. So, mate, they're all good. No matter, I've had a couple of things in Wellington.
Yeah.
Just getting the guys together. Yeah, absolutely. They're awesome. Yeah. So, mate, what else has been going on? You've got like a little bit of a project happening.
Yeah. So Papatoe, as you know, Papatoe got bowled. The council, the Auckland Council, come through and sort of railroaded the club. Even though we owned the building, the council owned the land. Now the land was given to the council from some people that lived in the area and owned all the land, and they gave it to the council for sporting. That was to be used for sporting facilities only.
Yeah.
So after all these years, I can't remember exactly how long we were there, but we were there, 50 years or something. And so what happened was the council decided that they just wanted us gone. No money, no nothing. Just see you later. We're bowling in place, And we had a huge, we had a huge membership back then. We had all these really good tournaments and heaps of kids, and that was the most important thing. We had heaps of kids. Paul Cole was doing a good job. He had about 30 kids at that stage. Yeah. And and they just come along. We fought them. I went on TV and the news and that. We fought them hard, It just, unfortunately, mate, you're up against the council. We spent a fair bit of money fighting them, but the lawyer said to us in the end, he just said, "Look, mate, you're fighting a tough battle here. All you're going to do is lose money, So so we gave up. And then we decided on trying to work at getting another rink somewhere, And so that was basically what we're working on now. Is I think it's been 6 or 7 years, and so I started a commitment. Sorry.
I'm just sorry. Keep going, mate. Keep going. I'm just bringing up.
Is this the project we're talking about?
Yeah. So the project is called Southscape.
Yeah.
And so myself and two other guys, Paul Van Dorsten, who's basically, he's sort of heading it, and Bill Over. So I don't know if you guys would remember, but back in the say 60s and 70s, Bill Over played for New Zealand. He's a real stalwart of roller hockey. And,
yeah, right.
He owned, I don't know if you guys ever went to Roller World Mangere. There was a rink in Roller World, a great rink. Well, he owned it with another guy. And so he's been, you know, his daughters did artistic, and he's played hockey, and, you know, he's also he was a trustee for Mount Wellington skating rink, which I think you've played there, Steve, at Mount Wellington.
Sure. Yeah, I have.
You have? Yeah.
Mount Wellington.
Yeah. So another great rink, and that rink's still going. We actually train, Papatoi actually train there on Monday nights. So
yeah, right.
It's still going, great rink. Yeah. And they got a good strong membership. So the three of us have been basically for the last 6 years, the three of us have been going through endless meetings with council, with different places. And so what happened was about 2.5, 3 years ago, I had a contact. My uncle was a trustee of the Pullman Trust. And so I had an in, and we spoke to Bruce Pullman, and he's the founder of the Pullman Park. And so they've got rugby, cricket, soccer, netball. They've got everything. It's massive. It's probably going to be the biggest New Zealand sporting complex in the country in the next.
So this is this place here, right?
Yeah. So that's basically 50% of the whole place. Yeah. And so we've been working with them, and we had to go through a whole lot of things with the council first, and get acceptance that we could go there and do what we wanted to do. They wanted us to do a whole lot of feasibility studies, which I don't know if you guys have done much of that, but it costs lots of money, you know. It costs lots of money. I think one of them was 30 grand that we had to come up with, you know. So so we had to do 2 or 3 of those sort of things to and before we could then settle on some land and then start going to the next phase. But the great thing is with Bruce Pullman is he's just such a doer, you know, and I like people that like doing things rather than talking about it. So we sort of got in with him, and since we've been sitting down with Bruce Pullman and going through it, now we're at the stage. The architects at the moment is just finalising all the detailed drawings, which is the final drawings of the actual skating park. And so we started off with a rink, but now it's gone to a skate park. So it's got a skating rink, it's got a training rink. It's also got
have you got another? Sorry, Steve, have you got another slide there that you could so we can sort of see a little bit where the rinks might be? I mean, if you can, do you have one?
Bear with me. I think it's this. There's a couple here, but let me just go to this one here.
See if you can sort of like point out, Rob, or let us know approximately where the rink would be.
Yeah, so the rink basically is if you have a look there, you see the red bit. So that's so what that red bit is, that's actually an outdoor skate park. So it's got all the bowls and everything, but it's actually covered. So it's got a cover that covers the whole thing. So it'll be the only one in New Zealand. And next to it is the building. So you can see the skating rink. So that's a full inline size rink, but we're gonna be doing it so we can play rink hockey as well, roller hockey. And then there's and so that's the rink next to it. Then on top of the red, you see those 3 courts. So they're basketball courts.
Oh yeah.
Then basketball courts. There's a mini putt going in. There's a sprint track for and a few other things going in as well. So the project's going to be quite big. So it's gone from a rink to all these extra things. So it started off. We were looking at sort of $4 or $5 million building for the rink, and now we're up to last sort of quotation was around 13 to 15 million. You know, so So we've gone from something, but the good thing is, and you know, like, you're not scared about those sort of numbers, because the thing is that when you're putting all that in, it makes it easier. because so many more people want to get involved, and it's going to have so much more attraction to the residents around the area. And because it's quite a new park, there's a whole lot of new dwellings, so there's a massive catchment area of kids in it. I actually we actually have some houses close, actually just only a couple of minutes from where the rink's going to be built, that we have for some of my staff. And so I go there checking on the house, obviously, every, I don't know, couple of months. I just go and make sure that they're keeping it all nice and tidy. And the amount of kids that are in the areas is fantastic, you know. So I can see it's going to be such a good venue, you know, and it's going to be, it's going to be a high level. Because Bruce Pullman doesn't want anything. We went through with him about what sort of aesthetics and stuff like that, and he wants everything sort of matching. And I can tell you that the stadiums he's already built are some of the best in Oceania. You know, so it's gonna be good. Yeah, it'll be really good.
Yeah. Hey Steve, can you just go back to the slide you had? No, not this one, the other one. No, because obviously this bit here. Yeah, go back to the green one. See that bit there is obviously on the top half. Is that correct, Rob?
Yeah, that's correct. So right up the top bit, that's where the new area is. So all those
right there.
So the gymnastics, all the gymnastics in the other stadiums are already there. So this is the new
addition,
venture, basically. Yeah,
massive.
I know.
It's
so
huge,
so what you just said, Rob, then obviously everything else besides that, skate park, rink hockey, and a couple of tennis courts will be built because everything else is already established around there, is it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So basically, the first thing to do is basically the ground's already been compacted and ready to go.
Yeah.
So the first thing to do will be the rink will go up.
Yeah.
And then from that, then the skateboard bowl and all that will be done. And then the basketball courts, got tennis courts, basketball courts, mini putt, and so all that sort of thing will be managed. Mount Wellington, who are very, very successful at running skating rinks, their rink is amazing. Like you go there on a Saturday or a Sunday, and without fail, any session will have 200 to 300 people skating. You know, it's just phenomenal. I take my boy there every now and then, and it's just it's amazing. I don't know what it's like over there, but it's just so good to see, you know. And there's kids on quads, there's kids on inline, obviously, but they're just having fun, and that's what skating's about, you know.
Yeah. So talk to us about timelines, so timing. So everyone's going to go, awesome, great.
Right.
So when we're having the Trans-Tasman or Australasians or whatever there, you know, that's what people are asking. I can tell.
Yeah. So obviously this lockdown stuff has created a huge delay in the progress that we're going.
I know.
It takes a long time to do. I mean, it's taken us 6-7 years to get to where we are now, you know. But the benefit is that we've got people involved that make things happen, you know. So Bill Over, he's a legend, you know. He's a guy I've looked up to for many years. He's a guy that makes things happen. Paul Van Dorsten, he's the head of us. You know, me and Bill are basically. We're working with Paul basically because he's sort of like taking the head by the bull by the horns, yeah. And so we've got, and he's a successful businessman. He's got a huge business and he does really well for himself, you know. So the three of us, along with Bruce, it's going to happen, you know. And so timeline, we've got the architect doing his bits now. We can't really catch up until the levels change, which will be another month. And then it's coming into Christmas. They've got a whole lot of things on. So it won't be till the new year before we can catch up again and then run through the next stage. So timeline, I would have said sort of mid this year. And I think I would have said, well, maybe next year, which end of next year would be start doing some sort of foundations. We've got to get. We've had sign off from the trusts. So the Mount Wellington Trust, which is basically the Mount Wellington skating rink board of trustees, have signed it off, which is great. and we've got the trustees of the Bruce Pullman trustees have signed it all off, which is great.
Mate, nice.
The council are all good to go. So basically, we've got to go through the fundraising. We've got to go through the funding side of it. Now,
Yep.
It seems like a huge amount, but I don't think it's going to be a major problem, because I think it's catering for so many things. I think we'll be able to get there in a reasonable time frame, as long as that we're back into it early next year, you know.
Yeah.
And then timeline. Hey, it could be I don't know, from could be 18 months, could be 2 years. I don't know. It's hard to say. But the good thing is that it will happen. It's definitely going to happen. It's just a matter.
It's happening.
Of, you know.
Mate. Well, that's just awesome. I'll tell you what. If you're in New Zealand, and even us in Australia, I know from my perspective, I'm like, man, this is awesome. You know, it takes a couple of years. You know, whatever, right? But that's good. That's good. That's mate. Good on you, buddy. Because I mean, that takes a lot of your effort and your time to deal with that stuff as well, right? It's not easy. So good on you.
I think the hardest thing is the amount of meetings and the amount of sort of. You quite often you're dealing with people that just they just can't make a decision, you know. And we all know, mate, what it's like. It's difficult at times, but the good thing is we got myself and two guys that are really good, and they're focused. They just want to make it happen, just the same as me.
Wait.
And so does Bruce Pullman, who's an amazing guy, you know, and he's basically the man behind it all. Yeah, he owns all the land. He's got it all there.
So we've got to say hello to a couple of people on the chat, and also there's a couple of questions there. Actually, we've got Rabs. He's on there. Hey mate, Eric Brooks is in. He's one of the old timers from hockey and the Morty, but I think he's living up in North Queensland somewhere out of a caravan. So hey buddy, Brooke Dando. Super excited for this. Such a great area with lots of new catchments. Stephen Capewell. Stephen Capewell is on our side of the ditch, and he's involved heavily in a new project to establish new skating rink venues as well. They're very similar to what you're talking about. So he and a number of others are working on this. We're going to bring them on the show in a little while. They need to get a few things under their belt before they start to sell, you know. But they're getting a lot of traction. And Kyle Hamilton, I think you've answered his question, saying when it's going to be finished. I suppose it's when it's going to be started. And like Rob said, in the next couple of months. Oh, sorry, the next couple of years. You're right.
Yeah, I think once we actually get once the foundations start getting poured, it won't take long. It'll be 6 months or so. So basically, I'm sort of picking it. It may take a year to raise the money, and to make and then I don't know. I'm always pretty positive and
a bit more optimistic than most, right?
Optimistic than most, but the good thing is that I know that we've got people that will make it happen, you know. So that's the key, you know. So let's say on a positive note, it could be 2023.
Yeah, right. Okay. And what's Russell saying? Don't believe a word he says. On your Russ.
Well, didn't he just get his knees done? Russell, didn't he just get his knees done?
Yeah, I know. Did he get his knee done? Did he just get his knee done before he came on the show? Or was it just after?
He's a bionic man. He's had his knees, his hip, his shoulder. He's had everything done.
I know.
And then I saw a photo of Russ catching a snapper, like a big ass snapper, right? Like on the back of a jet ski. And I'm like, you bastard, you know?
Yeah. Oh, funny.
Knees done.
Somebody was asking about whether the rink was indoors or outdoors, but it's indoors.
It's indoor rink.
Yeah. Blink. Good to see you, buddy. Now, mate, Eric's ex-Auckland Hockey Club and Mangaree, 1973 to 83. I didn't know.
Okay.
It's a Mangaree, so that's the rink that Bill Over owned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they used to have a team called Mangaree Roller World, and they were good. They had a huge amount of players. They had a few senior teams, a couple of ladies teams, and I think they had three junior teams. Yeah, they were strong for a number of years. Yeah, it was a shame that they sold the rink. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, this is actually not a bad segue into one of our next questions we want to chat to you about, and that was about we're looking back, right? We're looking back on the history of Australia, New Zealand roller hockey, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, right? You know, it doesn't. Well, people were playing hockey in the what's Eric's name? What in 70s, right? What's that? 50 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So Claude and I have been chatting about what do we call it? Teams of the decades.
Decade, yeah, the decade, not the centuries.
Because last century is century.
So, for example, pick your team of the 70s or the 80s that or the 90s. Just because we can't pick a team of the century because you're going to leave people out.
Yeah.
Or, but maybe we're going to think about, but you can do it this century versus last century because we are into a new century. But we're thinking about Papatoe, right?
Yeah.
And we're going, a lot of great players have come out of Pap. They're a very strong club. I mean, and we're starting to think about, Wellington. Fuck, man, they've had some great players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Monganui. And then we've got Morty. We've got Stafford. Scorpions. So we're starting to think about trying to generate this conversation about the team, today, which was last century and this century. I think if we did one for every decade, then you're probably going to be here forever.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? This is our ask of you, Rob.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible to determine and to define 10 players, 2 goalkeepers, 8 floor players, and the coach, and maybe a couple of reserves of Papatoe? How would you go about it? Is it possible?
I think so. Yeah. I think so. You might offend a few people.
I know. That's what we're nervous about, right?
I know. But it's a good. It'll be a good topic, It's a good topic because you're going to sort of say
bit of a debate,
Because I mean,
in 2010, I got asked the same question by a gentleman, Noel Hawkins, and he lives in Australia, but he was a hockey player. He was a goalie in Hamilton, I think, many moons ago. And he asked the question when I set up Rink Hockey New Zealand. He asked the question and wanted me to put it out there. So I asked a number of people, but it started offending people, and some people, and the funny thing is like someone like me, I don't really care too much about certain things, but some things,
we've got that sort of same sort of blood running through.
Some things you do, but you just got to be careful who you're going to offend, but. At the end of the day, if you're probably going to get away with, I would say probably 6. You probably get away with the top 6 because everyone will know who they are because they're going to be bloody strong. It's the ones that are at the sort of at the 7
fringe.
On the fringe.
The 7 to 12 sort of range.
And there'll be a lot that are probably close to getting in there. So what you could probably do is go. Who are your 2 best forwards that you think, and who are your 2 best defenders, and then who are your 2 best attackers, or say ask the guys for your top 5 attackers, your top 5 defenders, and then you'll get a mix. You probably get 20 of each, through everyone commenting, and then you can sort of sort them from there. That's sort of how I was going to do it back in the day, but I didn't. I really. At that point, I was running a lot of events, and I didn't want to piss a lot of people off, so I sort of stayed away from it.
Because with Steve, we're having this chat. We're having this chat, and we always talked about. I remember when we were in Portugal, and we saw these, and we're going, man. There's been so many good players out there. Yeah, there's just so many players. Then we say, well, Australia, New Zealand, they deserve the same recognition as well. So we should be able to, without obviously the point and the purpose is not to offend anyone. But it's just to sort of say, for example, Papatoe, it was A, B, C, D, and E. We're like, they were top players. They were national players, world-class players that, they're worth a mention.
There was also a number of players that never actually travelled that were bloody good, but they never had the finances or they had an incident that they couldn't go or whatever. You know, there's a number of people that over the years, quite often I remember sitting down, and probably in the mid '90s, and a few people were saying to me that quite often it's only the ones that can afford to go that are going. You know, and that unfortunately that did happen a number of times. You know. So there is guys that maybe guys in Aussie never got to see that had some bloody amazing ability, you know, and it's probably the same in Aussie and New Zealand. You know, we never got to see some of your top guys, but I think definitely it's a good thing, because I think what happens, it'll create interest, and anything that creates interest is going to be good for the sport. You know?
Of course.
Yeah. Well, we're going to ask you to and leave you with a task to process how the hell we can make this thing work. Because what we want to do is go through all the big clubs, right? Go through all the clubs that have been around. But we're like, let's talk to Rob about it. You know, he might solve it. How they're working out.
I could definitely. I suppose at the moment now, I could probably I could do something over this end.
I don't know, but you know, like you said, I like that. I sort of tend to agree. You got your top 5 or 6 players, just know that they are, and it's those other ones that just sort of, on any given day, they could fit in there. And maybe that's the approach, right? It's not a selection of 10. It's a selection of 15 and whatever, 3 goalkeepers, and then you've got a coach, right? Yeah. I mean, I know from some. I mean, look at Morty Alec, right? Geez, that's a very deep bench of players, and that's gonna create a shitstorm of a conversation. Yeah. But it'll be good.
Yeah. But the thing is,
the same shitstorm of a conversation, right?
It'll create interest, and I think if it creates a shitstorm, it's still creating interest. So it'll be good. Yeah.
And we want people to input. We want people to tell us, you know, the best player in Papatoa, you know, Rob Vazey, without a doubt, right? Great. And someone else, whatever, blah, 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 right?
Because the other thing over here is we had a lot of players change clubs. So Clyde Jackson,
where did he originally come from?
Papatoa. So he was originally a Papatoa player, and then he went to Mount Wellington. But
and he played on Morty Alec as well. He played at Morty for a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, and he played overseas. He played overseas when Russell was overseas as well.
Yeah.
So you've got, you've got guys like Russell who never changed. I never changed. We were Papatoa born and bred. You know, we did play for. I played for Mount Wellington. Oh, actually, me and Russell both played for Mount Wellington against Morty Alec. We beat you at Newcastle. That was at the. That was Australasian shit. That would have been
like 89.
Late 80s, late 80s. Yeah, Newcastle. Fantastic tournament. Yeah, and we me and Russell played with Clyde and the Mount boys, and we won that, which was fantastic. But But that was only, I mean, we just got a clearance to go and play that tournament, you know. And I know that like guys like Rowe, I think Rowe's played for every team.
I know.
Yeah, so,
I know. Good on Rowe. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's awesome, you know. So, I definitely think there's probably if you said if you went out to the community, the hockey community, you said, hey, we want everyone to give us your 10 best players.
Yeah.
That you know of, and you can go back as long as you want or whatever. Who are your 10 best players? And send it in. And then what happens is then you all of a sudden you can put a spreadsheet together, and you can go, okay, well, these are all the players, and then you can start whittling it down. You know, I run the sprint car over here. I run the sprint car guys at Western Springs, and so we have to do the same thing for prize giving. So instead of someone saying, oh, well, he's the best at this and he's best. So what I do is exactly the same thing. I just say to all the drivers, I want you to tell me, who do you think is the most improved, or who do you think has got the best car, or for that sort of stuff. And what happens, it actually ended up being quite easy to, once I put it into a spreadsheet and a little formula that split it, every time I had a first, second, and a third. It was easy.
Yeah. No one to do it because there's so many great clubs. I mean, let's go back to Clyde Jackson for 1 second. Just from my memory, when I was a junior, I saw him play. I was just coming out of the junior senior thing. I'd never seen anyone so fast in my life.
Yeah,
that guy.
I bet you're going to tell about his speed. Yeah,
man. I was like, man, and then I just never saw him again ever in my life. You know, actually, no.
Did he skate that fast that you didn't see him again?
No, he fell over and broke his hand. He broke his arm or something at the beginning of a competition on the barriers.
I'll tell you one story I'll never forget. Right, we were playing. I was playing against Clyde in Nelson, and it was the finals. And unfortunately, there was two guys standing on the side of it. And normally they don't sort of lean against the side of the rail on the rink, but there was two young guys standing on this, and they were juniors, yeah. And so me and Clyde were there. Clyde had the ball, and I was defending. And in front of these two kids, he said, "Right, I'm going to go to your left. I'm going to skate down the rink. I'm going to go through and put it in the top right-hand corner." And it's exactly what he did. And I looked like a complete dick. And these two kids come up to me after the game and said, "Oh, he did exactly what he said." He's pretty awesome, old Jacko. He's still playing inline.
Yeah, why didn't he ever come back to roller hockey? I noticed that.
Yeah, it's just politics. Yeah, he got. Yeah, it was just politics back. I can't remember when it was. Sort of late 90s, I think it was, early 2000s or something. Yeah. Bit of politics, and he had enough and sort of walked in, and then the whole of Mount Wellington changed to inline, which was a real shame. A real shame.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
So he's still involved though, but in inline sort of point. Yeah.
Yeah. We ended up we got Greg Brooks, so Aussie, so our goalkeeper. So he played for Mount Wellington, so he ended up coming across, which was an asset for us because he's been amazing, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, mate. So now, right, we're going to keep moving. There's so much to talk about, mate, when we catch up with you. But one of the key topics we've been chatting about, sorry, let me just bring this up, is this little sucker.
Yeah.
Right. So a couple of weeks ago or a month or so ago, you reached out and you said, "Hey, Steve, hey, Claude, I love what you're doing on the show. It's the #1 rating roller hockey show in Australia and New Zealand at this time. I'd love to help out." And you're donating a stick. Now, Claude's been saying you're personally going to deliver this stick to someone.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, it's like the emoji, you know.
I'm not sure if you've heard about that there. Anyway.
I think the problem is, Claude, is if I go, I can't come back. That's the problem. So if I go deliver the stick, I'm stuck there, you know. So yeah, I don't think anyone wants me there for 3 months.
So Claude, why don't you just give a little bit of a summary, not of the winning, but we've got a few entries in.
Yeah, no, there's a few entries.
Just shout out a few names.
Okay, there was a few entries there from Kiwi. Kiwi put, I think it's a Mitchell Lockett. Mitchell Lockett submitted a few as well. Tony Wheeler, Andrew McGregor. Now there was this guy by the name of, I'm assuming it's the guy. It was Clippers _2424. Not too sure.
Not too sure who 24 is.
Yeah. No, I didn't know either. But and there was a few cool ones. But I think we just got to carry on and just say who the winner is, because, and we're going to read out the story. You reckon are they available to read out the story, Steve?
I'm not quite sure yet. Just give it another minute. That's what I mean. Just feel a bit more time, Claude.
Okay.
Well, Rob, how do you feel about the stories? It was actually good. There's a couple of funny ones in there. A couple of just.
You know what? It was just about creating some interest, which is like I said, any interest is good for the sport. So, and I think it did, which is it served its purpose, you know.
Yeah, exactly right. Right. And
on a different note there as well, I think Russell was saying that Clyde's son plays roller hockey for Papatoa. Is that right?
Yeah, William. Yeah, and he's playing bloody well too. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's good.
He plays inline as well, so he sort of does both codes. So yeah, he's doing really well.
Papatoa, Peter Money.
Yeah, Peter Money. I think he moved to Aussie. I think in the 90s. I think early 90s. I think he moved to Aussie, but yeah, he was a great player over the years. But
yeah, okay, all right. Well,
all right.
let's go, Claude. So we're going to go with the winner. I'll announce the winner, and I'm not sure if she's available to come on the show to talk about it. She's occupied at the moment at late notice. So that was more our fault than anything, you know. But what do you do, right? I don't know. You know, we're working. We're just going by the seat of our pants here, right? But anyway, so we're happy to announce that the winner of our first giveaway, donated by Mr. Rob Vazey, is Hannah Lincoln. Hey, Hannah.
Hey, you should have had like streamers or something going off and fireworks. Come on, mate.
Actually, Hannah submitted a couple of stories.
Yes.
And
two good ones. Two really
good
ones.
Good ones. Now, one of them's probably a little bit not in our time slot. We probably need to go to a later time slot. So, Hannah, we're going to park that one for now. And we might actually, when we get together for the live show, right? When we get together for the live show,
the after hours show, the after hours one.
Yeah, the after hours show, you know, it's sort of like the M plus rated sort of show. We can talk about that one, but it's a very good one. But there's another one's a bit sort of PG sort of rated as well, and she wrote it very, very well. So, you know,
going to read it out, Steve?
Yeah, no, I'll read it out. I'll read it out
because that's going to be just as entertaining as the story.
All righty. So Hannah obviously has seek permission, and she is allowed to. She's given up two, like we said, but the winner one from Hannah Lincoln is the one that I'll read it out.
Oh, I know you. Well, come on. We know you are.
No, I was just going to give a bit of a summary, but I saying, okay. So when we went to Portugal, when we were in Portugal, Stephen Capewell, so we just mentioned him before, had volunteered to referee a hockey match, as you do when you're overseas.
Give us a bit of context. What year was this? It wasn't last. When was this?
It wasn't last year. I don't know. It was like in the 90s.
Oh, Steve Capewell's on. So, okay, in the 90s. Right, okay.
No, he's saying no, yes.
Yes, Stephen Capewell. Yes,
you Capewell.
The center of this story.
So obviously he was, he was proud to be affiliated with the club Sintra, and keen to be involved. So he was a lot younger then, obviously, and more, slightly more athletic. Oh, he reckons he's 2000 in the year 2000. So we said late 90s, so 2000.
And he was slightly more athletic than he is now.
Correct.
Okay, so he wasn't moving at pace. Right, okay.
Obviously, so you needed to be when refereeing in Europe, so often having to jump, duck, and wave out of the way as the ball players whistle past.
Duck and weave, not wave, duck and weave.
Duck and weave.
He's waving at everyone.
Well, you know, Steve, he likes the fucking bit of attention seeker. So this moment was no exception, Hannah wrote. So Steve was making his debut in front of a packed local crowd, maybe, I don't know, anything between 6,000 or 8,000 people, maybe. Yeah, would you agree with that, Steve?
Yeah, Sintra's a massive rink. It's beautiful. It's actually got two rinks in the one venue under one roof. Anyway, yeah, great.
So obviously he was dressed very smartly in his khaki slacks, brown belt, and a sharp polo, Hannah reckons. One item of clothing Steve did not have on his mind were undies. So he was going commando apparently.
Just pause for a second. So Steve Capewell is refereeing a game.
Yeah.
So he's got all these beautiful clothes on. He's in there. He's ready to go.
Commando.
But for some reason, he hasn't got any underwear.
Correct. He's gone commando.
How do we know that?
I don't know. Well, let me continue reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that? Despite being on his third wife, I don't know what that's there for, he felt he didn't need the support and preferred the freedom. I'm just reading. I'm reading, Steve.
I know.
I'm sorry. 7 minutes into the game, and Steve, like a gazelle, leaped onto the barrier to avoid a collision with competing players. He balanced on the edge and, unrestricted by underwear, tucked his knees up effortlessly, balancing on the wooden. So he's jumped up, and his knees are around here, around his chins, probably, balancing on the wooden barrier. He waited for the players to move on, then went to casually back down to the floor and follow the player. Okay, so when what was it, Alice? The smart khaki pants got caught on the sharp edge of the barrier. So Steve moved to the floor, but the seats of his pants did not. So apparently, because I wasn't there, was you there?
Well, I wasn't.
Was you there, Steve? So then apparently, oh man, I lost where I was. A perfect square tore through his slacks. And as he was underless, his skin a very white, pale, and a bit of a skid marks, I think, that she's reading here. So his skin marks.
Did say something about how much hair he has on his ass?
Yeah, what I said, yeah, hairy, yeah, skid marks and hairy ass. A now red Grace bum cheeks was on display for all the venue to enjoy. Yeah, she's reading here as well that some women gasped and covered their eyes of their children, while some men and boys grinned in empathy, some in disgust. But like a very true professional, Steve refed on, one-handed that is, because the other hand was reserved for hiding his damaged ass and what left of his dignity, and what he was left of his dignity. And that is it. That is.
I tell you what, I don't have time to upload it, so I'm going to show you. There's actually.
Oh well.
There's a photo.
There's a
That's
photo.
Fantastic.
There we go.
And he's actually got a big scratch on his ass.
I know.
Oh, wow.
Stephen Capewell.
Is that the scratch? Is that the skitties that she was talking about?
There you go. True story.
It's pretty good that he carried on riffing, eh?
I know. Good on you, Steve.
Why wasn't he wearing any underwear?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
That's why he's on his third wife.
I know, yeah.
Third wife. I know. Oh, you've got more stamina than most of us, Steve-O. Very good. Anyway, so Hannah, good work. Hannah, she sent in a couple of stories. Awesome.
I know.
And we really appreciate all the other entries, guys. And we know, what we do know, that there are so many more out there. And even the three of us have enormous amount of them, right? But let's leave it to others. But there are so many. Just PG rate them a little bit. Just bring back a bit of the language. It's okay. Right?
I know. But it's too late now. You can't send them in now. It's too late.
We might do another one in the new year. We might do another one in
the
new
year,
won't we?
Start writing them down.
Yeah. Do another one in the new year.
Because you said some people started calling you with funny stories.
Yeah, people started calling me with funny stories. I had ones about with Pino Marcella, and I had one about the. I was like, guys, you got to send it to me. You know, you got to send it to me, otherwise you're not in the comp. But anyway, So Hannah, good work. We're going to get that stick to you. Rob's going to deliver that stick to you somehow.
He'll be knocking at your door.
Now, Rob, thanks for that. Thanks for sponsoring that stick, buddy. That goes a long way for us. Yeah, that helps a lot, mate. I mean, it's a small thing in some people's eyes, but it's a big thing in our eyes. So thanks, buddy. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries at all. Anytime.
Yeah. Now, mate, we want to bring it back to you a little bit, right? I want to bring it back to you a little bit. Now, you're a man, not just of hockey, but of many, many things. And what's in your room behind you shows that you're part of many, many things. Yeah. So I just want to bring this up for a second, right? So you can talk to us a little bit about it. Bear with me. The Glocks.
Yeah, so that was a band I was involved with for about 9 years. Yeah, so I left the band. It'll be about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yep.
Just recently.
And then I started a new album on my own. So I.
Really?
Yeah. So the new album was the Vazey Collective. So what happened was I was just getting tired of being in a band with musicians that basically I did everything and they just turned up. So I sort of so I thought, and I had a whole lot of songs written for myself, and it just wasn't the right fit for them. So then I embarked. So what I did was I got a whole lot of musicians from around the world. I actually got a Grammy Award pianist to play on
really?
the album. Midge Marsden. I don't know if you guys have heard of a guy called Midge Marsden. So he's one of New Zealand's most famous
I think just
blues players.
Kanye West and we just I'll tell.
Yeah. So I embarked in a sort of bit of a journey with and the music and did an album. And it's actually the funny thing is I got contacted last week by an Australian music producers or music company that are about to release one of my songs in Australia. So
wow.
Yeah. So
what are the details? I mean, what are you operating under Rob Vazey, or have you got another name? No Phantom, or the
No. So the album is the Vazey Collective. So
right, okay,
that's pretty much it. But it's on iTunes.
Is your thing drums, or is it guitar, or is it what?
Are you singing as well? Yeah, are you singing as well?
No, I'm not singing. I've got a singer, a guy from Christchurch who's sung, and he's amazing. He's phenomenal. But we've got so the guy, the lead guitarist, he's played all around the world. He's played with some of the best. He even taught the Guns N' Roses. He lived with Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, right.
He taught Duff McKagan's kids how to play the guitar. He's teaching my son how to play the guitar, and he's so it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, so I've had the album's actually been out for a while, and it's getting quite a lot of listens.
That is literally music to our ears. You know why? Yeah. Because we have been saying there's a number of people in roller hockey that have other talents.
Right? A second talent, yeah.
Right. So next time we catch up, we want you on the axe, we want you on the drums. You got to show us a little bit of something. We got a few people they got a bit of stuff. But Claude's a great singer. They call him Monotone Munoz. He just sings and everything just sounds the same, right? It's just nothing changes.
No, but wait a second. Rob, are you actually playing drums on your album, or what are you actually doing?
I'm playing guitar. So I wrote all the music. So I wrote all the lyrics, all the music. I actually own all the songs, so all the royalties come to me. They don't go to anyone else. So that's a good thing. So I produced it as well. But I play the guitar on this album. I actually got a better drummer to do the drums. If you're going to do something, you got to find the right people. So
the guy, mate. That's awesome. Man, that's great. That's great. We've got a couple of people in Oz. You know, Al Andrews, a real muso. We've got Lyle Denman. He's in a band, and he's he's
a music teacher. Is he a music teacher?
Yeah. We're in China. We're in China, and I don't know.
Oh, we're gonna let him tell that story though. Yeah.
But anyway, we're in the middle of this massive hotel somewhere, and all of a sudden we can just hear this Pavarotti or this. Some sort of music. What's going on? And this guy's just in the back there playing the piano, doing a great job. Anyway, we'll keep that story for another day. But anyway, there are good people in our sport with other talents. Now, Claude's talent is, like I said, he's a great singer.
Monotone.
Yeah, Monotone Munoz. And he loves to sing Kiss. Do you like Kiss? He loves Kiss.
Yeah. Awesome. I can see it with the makeup on and dancing around. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. With the long hair,
I mean, your other love. Yeah. You got music, and your other love, one of your other loves, other than your wife and your beautiful family. They're at the top here, right? The next things is racing cars. I mean, what sort of guy is this, right? Plays hockey, races cars, has a band. I mean, you'd have every group. I mean, the guy should be single, right? I mean, he'd have a bit of someone in everywhere, right? No dramas, right? Who are you, Tom Cruise?
How long have you been, Rob? How long have you been doing this?
This would be probably 5 years now.
Yeah, because it was after it was. Did you start during or just after the China the World Roller Games in China? Because I remember you talking about it.
Yeah. So I bought the car. Basically, the car arrived, I think, the week before we went to China, and then we got it signed, written, and So. These things are a beast. I don't know if you guys have seen them race in Australia.
Yeah, it's a speedway car, right?
Yeah, so these are a sprint car. They're 900 horsepower. They weigh 600 kg. And, they're just a weapon. So they've got more power to weight ratio than a Formula One.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
No, they're pretty. Yeah, they're pretty amazing. But yeah, heaps of fun.
Are you doing it now?
Yeah, so I actually just picked up the car today. It's just being rebuilt and sign written. So I just picked it up today. So that was
right. But mate, are you any good at it? I mean, you know, I'm not so sure, right? I mean, are you any good at it, right? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not one to judge, right? I'm not saying that I know how to race a car, but that doesn't.
Okay, wait a second. Was that
really
you? Is that you driving it, or is it your son?
Yeah, I'm just saying, right? It looks like it wasn't meant to happen.
Yeah, no, I don't think that was meant to happen. Yeah, no, there's the thing is with these cars, to be honest, it's so easy. It's so easy to crash. I've had a lot of crashes. Yeah, and especially when you're learning, you just it's crazy. There's a lot of shots like that.
Oh mate, no, that's classic though.
I'll tell you what, the coolest thing with the sport. I don't know if you guys follow motor racing at all, but my first ever race, I lined up next to Tony Stewart, who's a NASCAR legend. He's won Indy cars, he's won NASCARs, he's won sprint car titles. He owns big tracks in the US. He's like the guy is one of the top drivers in American history, and he's worth hundreds and hundreds of millions. Well, I lined up next to him on my first ever race of one of these things. He was at Western Springs down here doing a promotion thing and getting to race against a guy like that. The funny thing is I crashed the first lap, and then he crashed lap 3, I think it was. So I ended up spending the whole race with him in the infield, and which was actually pretty cool. And when I quite often do interviews with radio stations in America for my music. And I was talking to one of the radio stations, which is in Carolina, and they're they're real NASCAR mad, American football and NASCAR, and they were and they found the photo of me and Tony Stewart that was published, and they found it, and basically we spoke about that for a few minutes, which was pretty cool, and they got a massive audience over there, so that was pretty cool. So it's good fun.
Good, mate. So I mean, so you're racing now? You're still involved racing?
Yeah. Still racing. Yeah. We were meant to be racing the last few weeks, but because of lockdown, so we're looking to probably the 18th of December. I think May, if we're lucky, could be our first meeting, or otherwise Boxing Day. So
okay. Well, stay safe, mate. It sounds like a full-on sport.
It's good fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's bring it back to hockey a little bit. So here's, I mean, I don't have all the photos, but here's a bit of a photo from the team.
Yeah. Rob, wait a second. Don't change. You got to name them all, Rob.
Got to name them all.
Who are your team players?
Yeah. So on the left, so starting from the left, you got John Bardo. Yeah. Then you got Michael Hankins.
Yeah.
Then you got Ali Langridge, and then myself. And Sean Ritter, who's from Manawatu, he was just filling in for us. And then
Blade Runner.
Yeah, I didn't even realise that.
Yeah. So he's an inline player, but he played roller hockey for many years, and we actually played in juniors together. And then you got Russell's brother on the far right. That's Stephen.
I was going to say, you know what? That looks like Russell.
Russell's brother.
Looks like Russell.
That's right. He's a better looking version of Russell, let's be honest.
And the goalie is Stephen Tonkin.
Right. Yeah.
So I can't remember. That was at Wanganui, but I can't remember when that was. It would have been a while ago.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Now, good old John Bardo, right?
Yeah. He's a legend.
He'd have to be in there in the squad somewhere there, wouldn't he? The Papatoe?
He's one of the
most... if you had to pick, would you put him in? We're talking about team of the century, team of the decades.
It's hard to say, and because you've got...
Don't offend anyone.
No, I'm not going to offend them. The thing is that everyone's got different skill sets, right? So like one of John's John's defense is amazing. He's such a good defensive player.
Yeah,
he can attack as well. But we've had other guys like Phil Bates. I don't know if you guys would remember him. So Phil Bates, he was he was more physical than what John is. John's not as physical. But one of the most amazing things that I like about John as a player is he can pick the ball out of the air. There's not many players that can pull it out of the air, especially when people shoot. And he just stands there and just manages to deflect the ball away from the cage, or he's just got that natural ability to do that. And I think that comes because he plays a lot of grass hockey. And he's very good. He's very good at grass hockey, and I think they do that a lot. So I think that's been a great attribute. But he's one of the best. And I mean,
I always found playing against him was very solid. He always read me like a book. I'd have to work so hard.
And he's played for a very, very long time, so you'll be able to put him. You'll be able to find a decade.
So, and he played in England for that's where he was from. So he played over there for many, many years before he came to New Zealand. But when he came to New Zealand, he fitted in so quick. And just had that natural ability, and he's a likable person.
Yeah, lovely guy.
Never will offend anyone. Just a nice guy. A genuine person. Yeah, really.
Now this one might not come through with great resolution, so forgive me, but
So that was that was Macau. That was 2004. That was the one that's
the one up here, is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So can you name it?
Right.
I can name all that. Yeah. So that's Donald Mackey, far left. That's Craig's dad. And then you got Craig. Then you got Carl. Then myself in the middle. Russell next to me. Then Rohan. And then you got Todd Mackey, Craig's brother. And then
is that his brother? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's Craig's brother, Todd. He was actually a really good player. It was a shame that he stopped because he had good natural ability, just like Craig. Then you've got Bill Turner. So that's Mark's dad. And then you've got, so if we go bottom right, that's Alistair. That's Mark's brother.
Yep.
Or one of Mark's brothers. Then you've got Luke Turner, who's Mark's cousin, who's the goalie. So he's the goalie on the right. And then you've got Watkin, who was number 10, the goalie, and then Mark on the left, bottom left. Yeah. So that was a good team and a great tournament. Yeah.
Now, wait a second. The Turner brothers. How many were there? Was there 3?
Yeah. So there was Mark, Alistair, and then there was Scott.
Scott is the one that went to play rugby in England.
Yeah, very good player. Yeah, very good player. He was an excellent hockey player. He played. I'm pretty sure he played. I know he played once with for Papatoe in Melbourne. I think it was. Yeah. Yeah. And he injured himself really bad against the gate flew open, and he hit when the gate flew open, he hurt himself pretty bad. Yeah.
But, really?
Yeah, good player. Yeah. They were all great players, and Bill Turner and even Craig's dad Don were exceptional players back in the day. So
I'm not sure if it was that competition, but remember we had a couple in Macau like every second year or third year.
Yeah.
But there was one competition where the floor was extremely slippery.
Yeah, that was it.
All right, and you guys, the Kiwis,
we washed the floor.
You guys went out and cleaned the floor.
Yeah. We cleaned the floor, and everyone was happy with that. Everyone thought that was great.
Everyone was sitting in the grandstand saying, "You missed this bit over here, Mackie."
Yeah, I tell you, the funniest thing about that competition, right, is I think we were playing Austria. I think first game was against Austria, and while we're doing the how you had that 15 or 20 minutes to do to get used to the floor and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, Austria was standing there on the side while we were out skating and that, and it was pretty slippery and that. Anyway, Luke Turner, who's Mark's cousin, the goalkeeper, he was a bodybuilder. He was huge, right? Absolutely huge. And and so what he did, he had a singlet on, right? So he just laid on the floor, and I laid down, and he bench pressed me, and I was 92 kg, and he's bench pressing me in front of the Austrian team, And these guys had just put the shits into the bay. Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Oh God. Oh mate, that would have been funny. That'd be funny. Yeah, Macau was a good trip, or a couple of good trips in Macau. And I've got this one here. And we'll let you go, mate. I know it's late over there, so I'm going to wrap things up in a sec.
So that's Austria.
That's in Austria.
Yeah, that was 2010. Yeah.
That was actually a beautiful place, actually, wasn't it?
That was great. I remember seeing you there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was living in I was living in Barcelona at the time. I was working, wasn't playing hockey, and then I came up 2 or 3 days into the comp, and sort of just hung out and watched you guys all play hockey and stuff, which was great. But I just remember how beautiful Austria was, you know, like Zurich and stuff like that.
Very, 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 very cool. The floor was amazing. And just really hospitable people. It was really good. Yeah, that was it.
Who you got in that team now? Is that the same? There's a couple of new faces.
Yeah, no, there's quite a few new guys in that one. Yeah. So on the far left we got Richard. You guys might remember him as Stretch. So he played for a number of years. He played for Hamilton, played for Mount Wellington.
Yeah, right.
And Wellington he played at the end. Yeah, but he'd been around for many years. I remember when I first started training with the New Zealand team. He was there, you know, always there. Yeah, been around a long time. Yeah. Then you got Dean Fitness, and then myself, and then next is Mark, and then you've got Tony Della. Tony Della, and then you've got John Lado, Ali Langridge.
Yep.
Isaac Luke is the next one, and then Rohan, and then Damien Wilson. Yeah, Damo.
Oh, okay.
So good bunch of guys. That was a great trip. I think we went to Germany first and played a bit there, and then moved on to it was great. Yeah, good team.
Yeah, good, mate.
And Russell was the coach. Russell Clark.
Oh, was he?
Okay.
Yeah.
Player coach.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't playing. He was just coaching. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
No, like it's hard being he's played after this competition, right? He went to China and he played as a player, right?
Yeah. So I tell you, actually, I'll show you something because it was only. Hang on a sec, is my cord long enough? Hang on a sec. I'll show you something.
Yeah. I just missed a call from Craig Burgess. I'm not sure.
I'll show you that.
Oh yeah, what's that?
So this is the first. This is the Trans Tasman Cup. Okay, sponsored by Carter Holt, and that was in 2010. So what happened was, so what I wanted to do was our team needed some practice, some serious practice, because we hadn't really had any international games or anything. Yeah. So I contacted I can't remember who it was, if it was Rene or Chris Shah. But I said, look, hey, we need to do something, and we need to play Australia, and then anyway, cut a long story short, Australia come over. We had a fantastic tournament in 2010, which was only months before we went to Austria, and I think it benefited both our countries, which was good.
Sure. Oh, that's good, mate. That's good. Well, mate, we've taken up a heap of your time, and we appreciate it, buddy. We really, really do.
We do.
Mate, I do want to ask you one last question. I mean, just give us a little bit of who in Australia have you considered to be like been a good player? You know, just give us we haven't really asked this question of others, but I'm going to start introducing it. It's going to create a bit of confusion. You know what I mean? So why not?
Wait, how many players can you name? Just the one? Just the one? You give us just the one, or
this guy? Yeah, over the years, I've played against a number of players. It's hard to say, There's players you're not going to
offend Claudio. No.
But there's players that you want to play against, and I think that's probably. I don't know if it's a camaraderie thing or it's a respect thing, but there's people that you actually want to play against, Steve, you're one of the guys that I always like playing against. The last time I played against you was at Melbourne, in the Masters, and we got to play, you're a player. Chris Shah, another player. Always had respect for. Nice person off, nice person on. Just a good, a good player. You know. One of the guys I actually in 2010, Glenn Cox, not the field player.
Glenn Cox,
cocky, really cocky player, really cocky player, but good to play against. Like I really enjoyed. We sort of, we were sort of 1 for 1, sort of thing. You enjoy that sort of.
Coxie,
You enjoy that sort of rivalry, and that was good. Mate. And so I don't know. There's a few players like that, and to be honest, there was a lot of great players back in the day. Like I remember playing the Colts and juniors, New Zealand, playing for New Zealand. So there was a huge amount of players, but I can't remember their names. That whenever you saw them, you just had the utmost respect. And I think that's the thing. What really turns me away from the sport now, and I was actually talking to Rohan about it not that long ago, is there's no need for people to put the buff in, and there's no need for people to cheat, by lifting sticks and stuff like that. I think the sport's too small for that, because it causes things. You better go out there, and I think people, if they stop doing, there's only a few people that do it, but if they stop doing it, they'll be more respected, and they'll actually be better players.
I agree.
But
that's great.
So,
no, 100%, mate. I couldn't agree with you more. And I think it's upon us and those that are watching and listening, and those that will listen. We've got a few people that listen to this as a podcast over the next week or two. We get a lot of feedback afterwards. They go, couldn't watch it tonight. I was out for dinner, but I watched it, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was, tuning in the car or whatever I was doing, right? Like, okay, cool.
Les Carrion was the other really well respected, Always a guy that always come and said hello, after the game. Always, me and him got on pretty well, It was a bloody shame what happened to him. But, another guy that, and just enjoyed, Claude, you've got Geordie, you've got guys like that. Just good people, Good people, good players, good people.
That's good. And we should dig a little bit deeper on some of these conversations, in the future with others as well, right? Because there is some great friendships, and there's also some great battles, that have happened. That's another segment and conversation.
Because you also have rivalries within clubs, the amount of punch ups I've seen at trainings. It's just people just get they get fired up, at your own clubs as well, So me and Russell, the one thing I must say, I'm probably one of the luckiest players, because I've had guys like Russell that have been playing next to me for so long, and me and him just fed off each other, and he helps. When you got people like Russell next to you and you're playing, you're only going to get better,
And you're only going to get whacked once, right? Till Russell steps in. I know. I remember playing against Russell and you guys in Wellington, and something happened, and Claude and Russell hit like this, and Claude went down, right? And then Russell's on top of him and I was like, jumped on the back of Russell. Like if you hit Claudio, you're going to kill him. Like his head, you can't do that. And the Russell, it's like, okay, it was all over, whatever. But at that point in time, smoke was coming out his ears, right? And you wouldn't know that talking to Russell. Like the most obvious guy you meet, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to Australia, New Zealand,
very seldom would you see Russell get that emotional. Very seldom, So,
Claude probably chipped his stick up or something.
But the cool thing is with our sport is that we can all go and have a beer afterwards. You can have a crazy game, and 9 times out of 10 you can sit there and have a beer and have a laugh afterwards.
And as we normally do, right, Australians and New Zealanders, like we all go do our thing during the competition, but we normally get to the end of the competition and it's we're all hanging out, you know what I mean? It's always Australian.
And that's always been the case. That's one thing I remember. Whenever we travelled, we're all over the cities. The Kiwis and the Aussies were always together somewhere and ended up somehow in the same place.
Yeah. I sponsored the I don't know who's got it now, but I sponsored that trophy. There's a big trophy that was for the supreme player of the Trans Tasman. I don't know who's got it, but that what
I think Bevan Hurley has it.
Bevan Hurley was the first one to win it. He was the first one, but I think you've had 3 or 2 since then. But Bevan Hurley definitely.
Yeah, I don't recall.
I don't think it came back.
In search, man. This is like a mystery case. It's a cold case. Let's get it out there. Let's get it back.
Be good to find it.
Paul.
Jimmy
has it.
Jimmy has it.
All right. There we go.
Right. No. It's not a cold case.
So, like I was saying to you before, when you asked, who are the players I like to play, that award when I bought it and sort of gave it to the guys, I explained it's about who is the best on the floor and off the floor as an overall. And it's about, it's about sportsmanship, the reason, and I'll tell you the main reason why Bevan won that is because he was a good player on the floor. He had respect for everyone. When someone fell over, he patted them on the back. He was just, and I watched it, and outside he was talking to the kids and the young girls, and he was making them feel good, and he's talking to them about the games. That to me is what makes a really good all-round player, and he deserved it, And that's what the award was about, is on and off the floor, not just who scores the most goals. It's about who is actually the supreme.
I remember that because we were there. It was in New Zealand, and that got presented.
Yeah, that was in Auckland. Yeah.
Mate,
that was a good tournament. I enjoyed that.
Mate, that's the right intention, right? That's exactly what we should be doing, stuff like that. So, mate, like I said, mate, we've held you up, mate. It's a bit later over there than it is here. But, mate, mate, what a great catch-up, mate. We've talked for a couple of hours and a lot of great stuff, right? So
awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for your contribution, as always, donating and stuff. And,
thanks a lot for
mate, don't be a stranger, buddy. Don't be a stranger,
Yeah. No worries,
We've got to
you
make
guys
sure.
Take care.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, good luck with all the lockdown, all the rest of it. I'm sure in the new year we'll be.
You have to send me the details so I know where to send the stick. And
right.
I won't be going.
I'll send you my address.
Okay. Thanks, awesome.
All right, mate.
All right, thanks, Rob.
We'll let you go, mate. We're gonna fuel up the jet. What's your poison, buddies? Bit of red wine. I've noticed that you've got.
Bit of bit of Pinot Noir.
Bit of Pinot Noir. Yeah, there you go. All right, mate. We'll get the jet
out.
Right,
Rob.
We'll fly you back home, back to New Zealand.
Thanks,
just
guys.
don't tell your but anyway, right. See you, buddy. Bye. The jet out, man. He's back. Rob's up the front of the bus. The song's going. You're gonna have to listen to some of his tracks. Get some of his tracks on the beatbox.
To be honest, hey Steve, to be honest,
let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. The flight there was too long.
It was a headwind, man. It was a headwind.
the headwind.
There was a 100-kilometer headwind coming my way.
Yeah.
I couldn't work how to turn it off. I forgot.
Oh my god!
I was like, "What am I gonna do?" And I was clicking everything. I was like, "Actually, I'm just gonna go click and turn it off and work it out." Oh,
no, but how good was that chat, mate? Rob's doing a lot of good stuff, mate. Yeah, and it's good to see. Well, it's good to know people like Rob are around in New Zealand that persisting for 6 years to get this thing off and running. A lot of people would have given up. Yeah. So
I know,
good on you.
I know. No. He likes to get stuff done, He likes people around him to get stuff done. And they can be challenging too, in a small sport. And I can appreciate that sometimes doesn't have patience for people that just talk about stuff opposed to those that want to do stuff as well.
Yeah.
But as we get a little bit grayer and a bit older, we'll sort of compromise here and there. Because just want to get, just want to move together, forward together. Yeah.
What's it called? Dave Corliss, the long-time listener, first-time caller. He's on. He's been watching. He's watching.
Oh, I don't know if he's still on.
Yeah. Davo. Haven't heard from Davo for a while. I don't know. We got a Diogo Carvalho. It's possible play in Australia. Yes, it is possible. Are you living in Australia, Diogo?
Send us a message. Tell us what state you're in, and we'll tell you where there's a club.
Stephen Capewell, Dave Corliss, Russell Clark, Eddie Carrion. He was he's tuned in.
And Blink. Good on Blink.
Blink Horn.
All right.
Yeah. All right,
thanks,
mate.
Guys. Thanks, guys, for all the messages. That's great. It's cool. It helps us get motivated to keep these chats going. We've still got a list this long, right? We've still got a list. This long of people we want to catch up with, right? All right, but we've hit episode 10. Remember,
I know we've done. I know.
Episodes and we're like, man, if we can get like 3 people watching this, we'll see what happens. You know, we've hit episode 10.
And we still got, like you said, I mean, all jokes aside,
it's a little bit longer than that. It's not that short.
It's not that short, but there's people that we wanted to have on because we just wanted to have a good laugh, and we wanted to hear some of their stories and some of the contribution that they've done. Yeah. So we will, you know, see if we can just tee it up. We'll see if I don't know how many more shows we got left this year.
I don't know, 3 or 4 maybe.
3 or 4.
I don't know, 4 or 5. I don't know. Whatever. Lead up to Christmas.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll keep going with that, mate. So just recap though. Hannah Lincoln, legend, wins the stick.
Yeah.
Wins the stick. Great story.
The story about Stephen Capewell.
On the basis
of Stephen Capewell. And there was a photo produced.
There was
a photo produced.
Yeah.
And apologies, Stephen. That grace on your butt cheek, I thought it was a skid mark, but it wasn't.
All right. And we want to somehow release the second story, but I'm just digesting.
No, we can't.
That second story, Hannah. It's a good story.
It's a funny story. It's a good story.
Very good story.
It was a good story.
It's a good story.
And I don't think it is appropriate for you or me to read it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking too. So we need Hannah on the show to read that story out. She can read it out. We'll get her on. So that's that. Now, don't forget, tomorrow morning, Melbourne time, 8:45 a.m. New Zealand time, 10:45 a.m. Portugal versus Spain. This could be the final game. You've got to watch this, guys.
It's going to be a big game. Well.
Portugal are on the ropes.
Yeah.
They're on the ropes, and you can hear it. They're getting a bit shitty, and they're this and that. They're on the rope.
Let's just. I mean, who are the main 4 players at the moment that Portugal have?
They're playing a lot of Gonçalves Alves.
Yeah, Gonçalo Alves.
You know,
what about
Elder Nunes? Yeah, he's getting a bit, and Rodriguez, Rafa.
Jean Rodriguez and Rafa. Yeah, okay. So they've still got a strong team.
Man, they've got a strong team. They've got a great strong team.
Yeah.
Gerald, whatever his name is in the goals.
Which is good. Because
they're just not. The defense of the other opposition have been cracking. Italy and France have been cracking. We've got to learn a lot from those teams.
Yeah.
Amazing. They're doing a great job.
Yeah.
So that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow morning. Don't miss that, guys.
On what bat channel?
World Skate TV. Just Google World Skate TV and you'll find it. It's all happening there. And
not Netflix, guys.
Not Netflix. Okay. Anything else that we wanted to touch on?
Nah.
Well, Melbourne's out of lockdown. Morty's back training. Melbourne's back at training.
We trained last night. It was last night.
So, how'd you feel?
Yeah, it felt all right. Strong.
Yeah, you did well, buddy.
I'm just waiting for it. Just like, you did well cleaning the floor.
You move really well between the anti-play lines, you know?
you were doing really well in the box.
Yeah, I know. Like you're just like you're like what they call the specialista, right? You're like the specialist, right? Just the cherry picker, the seagull. That's what I'm going to do, man. Just get me the ball. Get to me the ball. But anyway, no, it was good. It was good. And I know that the Queenslanders had a hit up a couple of weeks ago up in Gympie, which I heard was stinking hot. It was like 50 degrees inside. That's hard to play hockey up there when it's that hot. Actually, they've got a new president. They've got a new president up there. Brian Cook. Brian Cook's the new president of Gympie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now, Cookie, you know, or what? I mean, Cookie's been around hockey for ages. He knows hockey. He knows good hockey, and he knows good people and stuff. That's great. But Cookie's a bit of a I remember Cookie's always wearing jeans. Australia Day Cup, 45 degrees, 3 days in a row.
Jeans.
Got the jeans on. The only time he puts shorts on is to play hockey. I'm like, aren't you hot? Like, I'm all right. This is all right. I'm like, man, it is so hot. Yeah. Anyway, we wish him well. We wish him well there. Stafford's got an election coming up with their AGM or something. So I know that they've got a new president potentially coming their way. Like Ghetto's still working hard in the Rage Cage, trying to get Lyle online.
Yeah, Lyle's just too busy, man.
Well, yeah, we've got to line up the ducks. I mean, it's more my problem than his problem, or our problem than his problem. He's told when he's available. We just haven't matched up the dates. And Jamie's doing well over in WA, you know, with Jordan and the crew, you know, getting stuff going. So that's good. So not a bad end of the year, which has been a pretty ordinary year from a lockdown perspective. So 2022, we'll make it happen. Yeah. Get the engagement happening. All right, dude.
All right, mate. I've got to go.
I know, mate. Yeah, we've got to go. Let's go see the family. Okay. All right, mate. Take it easy, dude. And thanks, David Root, for joining. James, Blink, everyone, Capewell, etc., etc., etc. Eddie, you know, we really appreciate it. And we'll catch up soon.
We'll catch up soon. Same bat channel.
Same bat channel. Same bat time. Not really. Who knows?
No, who knows?
All right. See you guys.
All righty.
Bye.
See you guys.